Hello and a very warm welcome to BBC London. Coming up tonight. Sent unsolicited explicit images by a man she'd met once at work. A musician shares her experience of cyber flashing and repeatedly reporting it to police.
I felt gaslit and I felt ignored and sort of just a nuisance.
Also on the programme, young people are being urged to get the HPV vaccine to protect against cervical and other cancers, as London has the lowest uptake in the country. And practising a dance routine to ABBA for her 100th birthday party. Meet Gwyneth, London's dancing queen. Good evening to you. We start tonight with one woman's shocking story. A musician who contacted us about a man she'd met once at work sending unsolicited, explicit images and videos of himself. She felt she was not taken seriously by police after contacting them more than 20 times. After the BBC got in touch, her case was transferred to the Met. The man in question from Vauxhall was later found guilty of intentionally sending the messages to cause alarm, distress and humiliation. She's been speaking to Nicola Goodwin.
Anna met fellow violinist Ben Gunnery when they performed together in August last year. From the West End to Broadway, Gunnery has played to audiences around the world. The musician from London also teaches violin and Irish fiddle to children and adults. He and Anna barely knew each other, so the messages she received from him were a huge shock.
Out of the blue, he sent me videos and the pictures showed his genitals in a lewd way, him lying on the bed. They were just really indecent and pornographic.
As the victim of a sexual offence, Anna has the right to anonymity, but she's chosen to be seen and heard.
I've done nothing wrong. I was just doing my job. It had quite a profound effect. I felt that I immediately needed to up the security on our house. It made me really think twice about travelling alone, and I'm carrying rape alarms, and that none of that would have been the case before.
Anna blocked him and reported it to police in September last year. During the next 4 months, she contacted West Mercia Police another 20 times, providing them with Ben Gunnery's name, workplace and contact details.
But there was nothing empathetic about their response. I felt gaslit and I felt ignored and sort of just a nuisance, in that we've already told you that we're dealing with it, we're following our procedures.
45-year-old Ben Gunnery has been sentenced to a 2-year community order, including 150 hours of unpaid work. If he reoffends, he will be sent to prison.
Good, relieved, and I feel that it's a good result.
The court also heard how in 2023 he was convicted of a similar offence. On that occasion, he twice sent indecent and offensive messages to a woman that he'd met through work. Sentencing him, Judge Abdul Sayed said Gunnery should have known the impact that his actions would have, and his victim now feels that she constantly has to look over her shoulder. Nicola Goodwin, BBC London.
Well, I'm joined now by our Home Affairs correspondent, Sonia Jessup. Hi, Sonia. Let's just pick up on the fact that Anna did chase this up multiple times. So what went wrong here?
Well, Anna Downs reported the case to West Mercia Police last September, and they explained that the case would most likely be transferred to the Met because Gunnery lived in London. But then when she didn't hear anything, she kept chasing West Mercia Police. They then told her that the Met had refused to take on the case because they didn't know Gunnery's home address. Now, that didn't make any sense to her because West Mercia Police had previously said they did know where he lived. And in January, she got in touch with the BBC. Within weeks, the case was transferred to the Met. And then within days, Gunnery had been arrested, charged and appeared before the court. So West Mercia Police has apologised to her. They say in an internal review, the force's service was found to be acceptable. But clearly Anna Downs doesn't feel that way. She says she's been made to feel like a nuisance.
And so the wider context here, what are the laws, current laws surrounding cyber flashing?
Well, cyber flashing was made a criminal offence back in January 2023, but there are still concerns around how police forces, how seriously some police forces take that offence. And you might remember in January last year, we had the findings of the Angelini inquiry, which looked at the case of Met police officer Wayne Couzens, who had kidnapped, raped and murdered Sarah Everard. You might remember that he was previously accused of a series of indecent exposure offences. Now, Lady Angelini called for better training to improve investigations of such crimes and a public awareness campaign, including over sending unsolicited explicit images. But as Anna says, she doesn't feel like her case was taken seriously by police.
OK, Sonia, for now, thank you very much. That's Sonia Jessup there. You're watching BBC London. Plenty more to come tonight, including...
And as Euros fever sweeps the capital, I'll be speaking to London youngsters about what the Lionesses' success means to them, and also meeting Chelsea's captain.
Essex Police has condemned unacceptable and violent behaviour after the scenes this week in Epping. Crowds had gathered outside a hotel after an asylum seeker was charged with sexual offences, allegations he denies. Meanwhile, a hotel that is earmarked for asylum seekers in Canary Wharf remains closed off this evening following protests outside it last night. Our political editor, Carl Mercer, has the story.
These were the scenes outside the Bell Hotel in Epping last weekend. Rival groups clashed and some attacked police after days of protest over the fact the hotel was being used to house asylum seekers, one of whom had been charged with a sexual assault. Today, Essex's Chief Constable revealed that 10 people had been arrested so far and had this message ahead of further planned protests this weekend.
I want to make it really, really clear. If you come to protest peacefully and lawfully, then we will allow people to do that. It is their democratic right. It is their legal right. If you come here and commit crime, we will deal with that robustly. Working with our partners, we will gather the evidence and we will bring prosecutions.
The police operation has so far cost more than £100,000, a financial strain, but also one on resources.
I want to stress that every single officer that is on this protest that has to deal with the thugs and vandals is an officer that is not otherwise protecting the community from a sex crime or a burglary or antisocial behaviour. So please, 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 again, my appeal to the people of Essex and particularly Epping and anyone who comes to protest, please think about that.
This morning, on a visit in northwest London, the Conservative leader called for calm and accused troublemakers of hijacking peaceful local protests.
I think that is a real problem. Local people are rightly upset. But what we're also seeing are agitators on the far right and the far left who are stirring up local people, stirring up trouble. They're the ones who should be targeted, not the people who are rightly exercising their right to protest.
Last night, rumours appeared on social media that asylum seekers from Epping would be moved into this hotel in Canary Wharf. The Home Office says no one is being moved from there. Tower Hamlets Council, though, did tell us that the hotel would be used for some asylum seekers, and police have been stationed here since last night over fears of protest.
I would prefer that people stayed away. I would prefer that people stayed away in their homes and their hometowns, which then mean the police can look after them. I'm sure people would prefer to have police diverted to dealing with, let's say, at the extreme end, rape and big crimes wherever they come from, rather than having to be sent to Tower Hamlets so they can stand here and be photographed waving a placard.
With the threat of more protests, the police presence will remain here and in Epping over the coming days. Carl Mercer, BBC London.
To the Euros now, and gosh, the Lionesses certainly put us all through it again last night. But after another late escape, the comeback queens are through to the final to defend their title. Among those cheering on the team from back here in the capital has been Chelsea captain Millie Bright, who took the difficult decision to miss the tournament due to mental and physical burnout. She spent today with excited young fans in East London, and Chris Legg went along to get her thoughts on last night's dramatic win.
Into the final.
Looking this way, lovely 1, 2, 3.
Chelsea captain Millie Bright was helping run a TikTok summer skills session in Shoreditch today. Last night, She was going through it all like the rest of us.
Oh, a lot of anxiety, a lot of shouting at the TV, a lot of standing up, sitting down, pacing around. But listen, I'm so proud of the girls and everything that they've achieved, getting to play in another final.
England's never say die Euro spirit has certainly made an impression on these young fans.
They really made the whole country proud getting to the finals, and especially Chloe Kelly. Honestly, she's a game changer.
I think it's been absolutely incredible, like game after game. They've struggled a bit, but they've proved that there's a reason why they're European champions.
It's now twice that Agyemang has come off the bench to spark an England comeback.
She's super talented. I think if you ask her, she probably never would have had her eyes set on the Euros and going. But she's extremely humble, hard-working. And I remember her first training session with England, and yeah, I think she put me on my backside in the crossing and finishing.
Old generalisations, it seems, are dying fast.
I feel like women's football now is like generational. I was saying it to my mum. It's just a crazy experience to be able to see so many amazing players.
I feel like the stereotype's pretty much gone now. Anyone can play, so it's an equal game.
I think it's good. The girls are good. Like you go to the cage, you see more girls. They're actually good. They're better than some boys.
You made a really brave and a really difficult decision to forego the tournament to protect your own physical and mental well-being. Is that an even more difficult decision now that you could have been playing in another final?
No, absolutely not. Everything happens for a reason. I'm at peace with my decision. I feel mentally and physically in the best place that I've been in a very long time. So, and listen, I'll always be a Lioness no matter whether I'm at the tournament or not at the tournament, and I can't wait for the girls to go and lift that trophy.
A dream shared by every England fan. Chris Slegg, BBC London.
Can't wait for Sunday. Now, London remains the region with the lowest uptake in England of the HPV vaccine, which offers protection against cervical and other cancers. So the NHS is launching a campaign with GP practices, sending invites via letters, emails and texts to patients aged 16 to 25, trying to catch anyone that didn't have the jab at school. In a moment, I'll speak to London GP Dr Kanani. First, Alpa Patel has been going through the numbers.
Riz, thank you. Well, HPV, otherwise known as human papillomavirus, is a common viral infection which can cause cancer and other complications in both women and men. The vaccine is most effective when given to 12 and 13-year-old girls and boys. But there are concerns about falling vaccine rates, especially here in London. Now, Lambeth has the lowest vaccine HPV rate anywhere in the country, and especially after COVID. The latest data shows that just 38% of Year 10 girls and boys have been vaccinated. For boys, it is 28%. In comparison, the highest rates are in Northumberland. 97% of girls have been vaccinated, and in Berkshire, 92% of boys have been vaccinated. Now, the reason experts are so keen for young people to get vaccinated is because HPV causes nearly all cervical cancers. And the vaccine cuts your chance of cervical cancer by a massive 90%. Now, you may be asking why boys should be getting vaccinated too. Well, that's because they can be carriers of HPV. They can also get HPV-linked cancers like head, neck, mouth and throat cancers. The NHS wants to completely eradicate cervical cancer by 2040, but the drop in vaccination rates is a real threat to that hope. Back to you, Riz.
OK. Alpa, thank you very much indeed. And joining me now is Dr Nikita Kanani, MBE, former Medical Director for Primary Care at NHS England and co-lead of the UK COVID vaccine rollout. Good to have you here this evening.
Thanks for having me.
As a London GP, in your experience, why are the rates so low here? I mean, we saw Northumberland is more than double the take-up than, for example, Lambeth.
Yeah, it really is. I was in GP surgery today and I had a few young people who hadn't taken up the vaccine, and it's really clear in London and particularly in the South East, we have a real mix of communities from different backgrounds, different experiences, different relationships with healthcare, and lots of people who really mistrust vaccinations and whether vaccinations are any good at all. And we see that more so in London than we do in places like Northumberland or Berkshire that was also mentioned.
And previously you would have been targeting parents because obviously you would be getting the vaccine at 12, 13, but here you want to catch 16 to 25-year-olds.
That's right. So this is a catch-up programme. Everyone at school between the age of 12 and 13 will have already had that vaccine at school or at least been offered it. But if you're over the age of 16 and you haven't had it or you're not sure, it's well worth finding out. Your GP practice will be able to help you. It's really important to get caught up. As you heard, it really pretty much eliminates the chance of you getting the vaccine that sits behind so many cancers.
You were heavily involved in the COVID vaccine rollout. Do you think there may well be fatigue over vaccine messaging or people balancing the risks themselves?
Absolutely. We see that a lot. And there are so many vaccines out there now, aren't there? But this is a really, really powerful one. It's really safe. It eliminates all sorts of different cancers for boys and girls. And I think, importantly, lots of communities worry that this is related to sex or STDs, sexually transmitted infections. It isn't. This is a virus that causes a set of cancers, and it's really important that kids get protected, even if they're older than the age range that we've talked about.
And when this vaccine was first introduced in 2008, it was just for girls. What more do you think can be done to get the message through to boys also having the vaccine?
I think the messaging and the targeting needs to be to whole families, actually. I've got a boy and a girl, both of them have had it, and the messaging at home was very similar. These are the risks. You're just as likely to get a cancer as your sister is to my son, so please take up the vaccine. And we need to do more to target boys where they find themselves. So, you know, we're just talking about the football. Is it at football centres and football clubs? Is it when they're gaming? You know, let's be creative about ways that boys also know that there's a way.
Them to where they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just very, very briefly, we heard there the NHS wants to completely eradicate cervical cancer by 2040. Given what we've just been talking about, how likely is that?
Oh, I still think it's doable. It's a massive catch-up, but I think everyone's really behind it, making sure that people get that opportunity because it really is life-changing.
OK. Dr Kanani, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate your time. Still to come for you before 7. Getting ready for a dance routine to ABBA for her 100th birthday. We meet London's dancing queen. Before that, though, since the start of the year, an East London borough has been trialling a scheme to keep school children safe on the streets that's been designed by the pupils themselves. A dedicated team of youth workers overseen by Waltham Forest Council have been patrolling the streets Monday to Friday after the school day ends. The so-called guardians are trained in conflict management and step in to de-escalate any incidents. Nikki Ford has been out with them.
It's late afternoon in Walthamstow and Barrington is out on patrol. He's part of a team of youth workers keeping an eye on the school children on the streets and ready to step in if there's any sign of trouble.
Sometimes, obviously, incidents happen really quickly. I find by standing back and assessing, then once we can hopefully get a common ground where we can maybe pull two people apart or a group of people apart, saying, look, it's us, you know us guys, can we help?
The Safer Route scheme sees 3 patrols around schools in Chingford, Walthamstow and Leighton.
The presence of guardians on Waltham Forest streets is something that was driven by the pupils themselves when the council asked what would it take to make you feel safer.
They designed the route, their uniforms and give regular feedback. One of the schools on the way is Walthamstow School for Girls. The head teacher there says there are a number of risks to pupils on the streets.
We've had people, reports of people dealing drugs on the street. We've had people who might be stalked. We've also got, obviously, there are criminal gangs in Walthamstow. And so, you know, there are some young people who are at risk because of that.
According to research by Waltham Forest Council, 43% of residents say the fear of crime is one of their top concerns. Alongside patrols, they also run youth activities which will continue over the summer holidays. 18-year-old Harry met them at a boxing club and now joins in with their work.
I think because I'm also young as well, I'm able to I've been there very recently, so I can
do things in a similar way that they've done it.
For Mum Candy, she says their presence has put her mind at ease, that her 12-year-old daughter can feel safe.
She has a slight physical disability, so she was very worried, really, and anxious that she might get picked on, bullied, laughed at. So basically, this for her, to see familiar faces that she's now seen every day or most days when she comes out of school.
It's a 2-year pilot funded by the Mayor's Violence Reduction Unit. If successful, the council say they'll work with businesses and the community to help extend it. Nikki Ford, BBC London.
OK, to a very special birthday now, and a Londoner who's celebrating her 100th birthday today. In the run-up, she's been learning a dance routine for her ABBA song, What Else?, at tonight's party, with a little help. And wait until you hear what she says about presents and her 3 tips for staying healthy. Wendy Hurrell has been to meet dancing queen Gwyneth Pedler.
That's one I like. I'm very pleased to have got to 100. I'd set a target for getting to 100, and I have got there. I've got a fabulous party of over 100 guests, and everyone has made a positive impact on my life.
And Gwyneth will be dancing to ABBA at that party. The physiotherapists at St Christopher's Hospice in Sydenham have choreographed the moves.
And wiggle, wiggle.
So she wants a birthday gift for them.
What do I want presents for, really? Money's better to go for something where it's going to be used to help people.
What are you asking for?
Donations to St Christopher's Hospice, because they do such wonderful work, not only with physiotherapy and art therapy that I've had my tapping into, but all the other things that they do in all sorts of other areas. The drivers are so calm, so helpful. It's a really lovely atmosphere here. I had an accident and lost the use of my left leg, and they've got me back to using it, and, well, as you saw.
Yeah. Not just using it, but dancing on it.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
But this was your aim, wasn't it? You said, I've got this birthday coming up. I want to dance.
That's
you told them that was your goal.
Yes, that's right. I thought it was ambitious, but no, they said it wasn't. Arm roll and throw.
Good.
Gwyneth was born in 1925 and, as a child, evacuated to the countryside during the Second World War, where she found it was a long way to walk to school.
So we didn't go. We went out to where the farmer was thrashing the corn, and he let us have a stick to hit the rats as they ran out from the corn.
A Brazil nut for breakfast, soap-free face washing, and one other tip for a long life.
Keep yourself surrounded by people younger than you and get to know them and socialise with them, because you'll then learn how to be young. And that's why all my life I've been in education. So yes, I had a lovely time in teaching. I loved it, most of it. I mean, there's bound to be bits you don't like, but I did. I was in 3 different schools as a head, all different experiences, like life is.
With such sparkle, it's a wonder stardom hasn't called before.
That's it. That's my performance, ladies and gentlemen.
Gwyneth, happy 100th birthday. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
She's an inspiration, and a very happy birthday to Gwyneth, who'll be dancing away to ABBA, possibly as we speak. And with that, let's get a check on the weather with Sarah, who's there, and I'm waiting for Summer Night City.
Absolutely. How about a gimme some sunshine for the next couple of days?
I'm hoping you will.
I'll try. Yes, good evening to you. We haven't had much in the way of sunshine out there today, rather cloudy skies, and there's just been the odd spot of light rain coming out of it. This was the picture in Surbiton a little bit earlier on. Into tomorrow, again, a fair amount of cloud, not going to be a particularly warm feeling day, and we might see the odd spot of rain, but bear with the weather because it is improving. Later in the week, we're going to see something drier, brighter and warmer on the cards too. So through the rest of this evening and tonight, it's largely dry. We've got areas of cloud just drifting their way south and a few spots of light rain just as the sun comes up tomorrow morning. But most of us will miss the majority of the wet weather. So 13 to 15 degrees to start your day tomorrow. Any of that early cloud and rain drifts away pretty quickly, so we should see a little bit of sunshine in the morning. Later on, though, it's back to the cloudier skies, and this rain will just drift its way slowly south across the region during the afternoon. It's not going to feel particularly warm, so 21 to perhaps 23 degrees. That's a little below par, really, for this time of year. But we'll lose those showers through tomorrow evening, and that's when we'll start to see something a little bit drier working in. So some clearer spells heading into the early hours of Friday morning, and those temperatures first thing about 13 to 15, so certainly still mild overnight. And Friday we should well see a little bit more blue sky, especially during the morning. Not completely dry, just one or two splashes of blue you can see there on the map, so there may be an isolated shower moving through, but predominantly it's going to be a dry day. 26, 27 degrees for your Friday. What about the weekend? Well, it looks like high pressure is going to try and move its way in. So a big area of high pressure sitting out in the Atlantic tries to move in. Couple of weather fronts just trying to push their way across that area of high pressure. So that means it isn't going to be completely dry, but probably a bit more optimistic than this spot data looks like. So yes, could be a splash of rain for Saturday and into Sunday, but predominantly it's going to be dry. Any of that rain moving through pretty quickly, and then those temperatures are going to be sticking in the mid to high 20s. So not too bad into the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you did say some sun and you have delivered, Sarah, thank you. And that is where we leave you. So thanks very much for watching. I never take that for granted, nor does the team. You can, of course, see more stories on our Facebook and Instagram. Just search BBC London or on our website, which is bbc.co.uk/. Let me do that again, bbc.co.uk/London. And of course, live coverage of the Women's Euro semi-final between Germany and Spain starts at 7:30 here on BBC One and iPlayer. Who will the Lionesses face in the final? From me and all the team, do enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.